Battle through the firmament. Great world. Chapter 454. The last two people. Whoosh. Outside the profound crystal realm, Su Jiang and Tang Hong's eyes were also on the verge of splitting apart. They rushed forward and caught their respective students. When they saw the fresh blood flowing out of their chests, their expressions changed drastically. Without any hesitation, they took out a medicinal liquid from their storage ring and rubbed it on their chests before slowly stopping the fresh blood. The medicinal liquid that the two of them took out was an extremely high-grade healing medicine. It had an obvious effect on healing wounds, but it could only stop the bleeding on their chests. That bastard! Tang Hong's face twitched slightly. His fury was overflowing. Not only was the Southern Sky Academy completely wiped out, but Zhou Buyi and Zhou Exingyu, his two favorite students, had also suffered such serious injuries. Xiaoyan and Kiara are still inside. Yi Xuan came to Su Jiang's side and looked at the profound crystal realm with her beautiful eyes. There was a trace of panic in her eyes. In her eyes, Kang Feng was undoubtedly a devil. What are you doing? Xiaoyan lay helplessly in the desert. He let Kiara hold his hand and injected the boundless origin key into his body. In the scarce origin monic crystal, a trace of origin monic key flowed into the meridians in his palm, bringing with it a trace of vitality. Don't speak. I will give you the origin key. If you want to defeat him, you can only rely on you. Kiara's pretty face was red as she lightly bit her teeth. However, her heart was beating rapidly. This was the first time in her life that she took the initiative to hold the hand of an unfamiliar man. Fuck me. How is that possible? Xiaoyan smiled bitterly. He felt that his body was filled with a lot of origin monic kiss. He jumped up from the ground and looked at Kang Feng, who was far away. The latter also looked at him. Because you are the only one who can accurately sense his position. Kiara let go of Xiaoyan's little hand. Her rosy little face had become extremely pale. She mumbled to herself, I have already passed all of the origin kiss to you. With this origin key, you should be able to hide in the spatial zone twice and dodge his attack. As she spoke, Kiara's delicate body trembled slightly and her legs went soft. She almost fell to the ground. Xiaoyan was about to extend his hand to support her when the profound crystal realm lightly shook and Kiara's figure disappeared. When the support was empty, Xiaoyan frowned. Just as he was about to make a move, his expression suddenly changed. The origin key in his body surged out and he frantically dodged to the side. In the next moment, Kang Feng suddenly appeared where he was standing. With a palm strike, a deep pit that was dozens of feet in size appeared in the desert. Yellow sand flew in the sky and did not stop for a long time. Damned bastard, do you only know how to dodge? Another strike missed. Kang Feng looked at the distant Xiaoyan with a cold expression. His face was ferocious. Xiaoyan had completely grasped his tracks. Nonsense. Xiaoyan smiled coldly when he heard this. His eyes were unusually solemn. He was quite afraid of the former's strength. Moreover, both his strength and speed were extremely powerful. He simply didn't have the time to use the star execution. Kiara. Yi Xuan softly called out when she saw Kiara come out. She hurriedly stepped forward and hugged the former. She quickly checked Kiara's injuries and only softly sighed when she saw that the latter did not suffer any injuries. What did you do? Recovering her thoughts, Yi Xuan looked at Kiara curiously and said. Under her gaze, Kiara only held Xiaoyan's hand and was then eliminated by profound crystal realm. Nothing. I just sent the origin key to him. Kiara's pretty face was pale as she lightly smiled and said in a low voice. What? Before Yi Xuan could say anything, Su Jiang by the side had already cried out in shock. His gaze towards Kiara was filled with disbelief. This little girl actually gave her origin key to Xiaoyan. There are only the two of us left. I might be like the two students of Star Sky Academy. Kang Feng has absorbed all of my origin key. I might as well give it to Xiaoyan. At least he can accurately detect Kang Feng's traces. Will he fail in this short period of time? Kiara forced her face and lied in Yi Xuan's arms, saying in embarrassment. When she heard this, They were also not qualified to comment on Kiara's actions. Looking at the profound crystal realm, Xiaoyan indeed borrowed this kind of sensitive feeling to dodge Kang Feng's attacks time and time again. Boom! Another key force was blasted out again, scattering the air in front of him. Kang Feng appeared with an ugly expression. Xiaoyan in front of him dodged one step ahead of time and could not even touch the latter's clothes. Do you think you can keep dodging? Taking a light breath, Kang Feng suddenly sneered. His expression was incomparably ferocious. He looked at Xiaoyan and roared furiously. Black qi surged in his eyes. He opened his mouth and swallowed out an endless amount of black qi. As the black qi filled the air, it turned into a huge axe filled with black qi. Clang! Kang Feng gripped the huge axe in his hand. His aura was like a sharp sword that soared into the sky, and his aura was oppressive. Sizzle sizzle. The black clear qi on the huge axe surged. It sounded like 10,000 ghosts crying. The sound caused Xiaoyan's mind to be unsettled. His soul could no longer sense it so clearly. Die! Seeing Xiaoyan in a trance for a moment, Kang Feng's body suddenly flashed. With a wave of the huge axe, he rushed towards Xiaoyan. The axe shone with a black light, cutting apart everything in front of him. Woo! When Xiaoyan regained his senses, Kang Feng was only a few meters away from him. It was too late for him to dodge. Immediately, he shouted out furiously. He unleashed all of his monic flame mantra and heavenly monic fire burning body, causing his strength to skyrocket. In an instant, he had reached the terrifying peak of Monic Emperor. Buzz! The blue flame ruler and the huge axe violently collided. Even though Xiaoyan's strength had soared, he was still sent flying. He landed in the desert below. Kang Feng let out a muffled groan and took a few steps back in midair. A strange black color surfaced on his originally pale face. Your strength has increased by so much. Could this be the reason why you don't know the difference between life and death? Kang Feng's eyes turned cold. He could not help but laugh out loud. After which, he threw his head back and roared furiously. The imposing manner of his entire body also soared in an instant. Numerous cracks appeared on his skin. His body seemed to be unable to withstand this imposing manner and was about to rupture. However, blood strangely did not flow out. Let me show you what true strength is. A long while later, Kang Feng finally looked at Xiaoyan. He was breathing heavily, but his eyes were filled with a bloodthirsty light. His strength had already reached the true emperor cultivation. Ghost demon, netherworld spirit. Kang Feng let out a low roar after his voice sounded. The enormous axe in his hand danced in the air, forming numerous afterimages. Like ghost shadows, thousands of ghost shadows surrounded Xiaoyan and whizzed over. After leaping up from the ground, Xiaoyan saw countless ghost shadows swarming over from all directions. It was simply too late for him to escape. Swoosh! In the nick of time, a faint gray origin key flashed around Xiaoyan's body, and his body completely disappeared from where he stood. Countless ghostly shadows had lost their target, and bombarded the place where Xiaoyan had been standing. The dust and sand that had been stirred up by the attack caused the entire profound crystal realm to tremble slightly. Kang Feng's eyes flashed. His voice was gloomy, and his tone was filled with endless fury. Swoosh! A ray of light flashed past. Far away from Kang Feng, Xiaoyan stepped out of the spatial zone. His face was slightly pale. Although he was very familiar with spatial travel, he couldn't stay in it for long with just the strength of a Monic Emperor. Chi! A trace of anger flashed across Kang Feng's face. He put away the huge axe and suddenly raised both of his hands. In an instant, an endless black qi surged out from his body. In an instant, a millstone-sized black light was formed in his palm. I would like to see how you are going to dodge this time around. Kang Feng extended his scarlet tongue and licked his lips. He smiled coldly and turned his palm. The black light was thrown towards Xiaoyan. Buzz! The moment the black light struck, the entire profound crystal realm shook. Immediately after, countless origin qis seemed to surge from outside the profound crystal realm, transforming into a faint origin key dragon that rushed towards the distant Shaoyan. At this moment, the latter had extended his hand, his 5 fingers were almost like claws, and his palm was, the extremely bright starlight slowly rotated. It was as if it had gathered the brightest stars in the world to this place. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.